guys, it's me Raquel again. Welcome to my channel. I just wanted to hop on here and make a quick video on my experience breastfeeding for the second time. As all know, I do have an 11-year-old son and I have an 8-month-old baby, and completely different experiences. With my first, I barely remember anything because I was only 17 when I got pregnant. I had him when I was 18. And now with my baby girl, I feel like I'm just a total different person, you know? So with both though, I did struggle with breastfeeding for sure. I don't really have big breasts to begin with, but I thought maybe that was one of the reasons, but I really don't think so the more I've read into things. Another thing I noticed too with both of my pregnancies is that I gained weight. My pre-pregnancy weight with my second one was 142 pounds, I believe, between 142 and 145 pounds. And then my highest was when I was about to give birth, of course, and I believe I was about 176. I'm really bad at logging things, and this is one of the reasons why I started vlogging more now, because I really don't have records of things, and I feel like this is gonna help me kind of, you know, it's kind of like my milestone. One day when I'm older, I can look back and say, oh yeah, I was going through this at this point in my life. Anyway, I was saying about my weight. The highest that I got to was 176, 178. Then I, for some reason, was freaking out because with my first baby, which was my son, about 11 years ago, I only gained about 10 pounds. I struggled a lot to gain weight throughout my pregnancy. Actually, every time I went to my doctor appointment, they would tell me, you gotta gain weight, you gotta gain weight. And I had really bad morning sickness with him. Now with my baby girl too, I did, but it was only about 2 months of that, and then it went away, and I didn't really eat bad. I mean, that's the one thing that shocked me, was I was keeping a pretty clean diet. Not to say, I mean, I did have certain cravings here and there, but it was nothing out of the ordinary. I didn't take advantage of me being pregnant. So I looked into a lot of things why I was gaining such a big amount of weight with my second, and I came across the article that said, don't worry if you put on a lot of weight, just the baby alone is gonna weigh about 6 pounds average when they're born, and then you have all the other stuff added to it that a lot of women don't consider, like the placenta, all the extra fluids and things like that. So then that kind of made me feel better, because I was thinking, yeah, that's true, the baby's gonna weigh about 6 pounds, and then plus everything else, oh, I'll be back on my weight in no time. So this is what I was holding on to for the rest of my pregnancy, and I felt okay. So my baby is born. About a month into me already having my baby, weigh myself, and my weight was almost the same as before I had her, like right before I had her. So I'm like, okay, what is going on? I got really scared. I'm like, I don't know why my weight is so high when I'm not really eating crazy. I'm taking care of myself. And I did have I did struggle with breastfeeding too in the beginning, and I also came with an article that said not all women lose weight while they're breastfeeding. That's a myth, and some women actually gain weight when they're breastfeeding if they're struggling with breastfeeding. And I was like, okay, that's totally me right now, because I'm struggling to produce milk. My baby was acting hungry still every time I breastfed her. I'm gonna open the door because there's like a heat wave here in Arizona, guys, and it's completely hot. I don't know what I'm thinking, but I really like making videos in the car, if you've noticed, just because I feel like it's my me time, my alone time. But anyway, back to my video. That's pretty much what I struggled with in the beginning. And fast forward to now, 8 months after I had her, I'm still breastfeeding her because I was able to get my milk production to go up. I just did not give up. I kept trying and trying. My baby didn't have an issue latching onto me. The only issue was her acting hungry every time I fed her. But I just kept persisting, and I kept breastfeeding her, and then somehow I started developing more milk, producing a little more milk. And I'm not gonna say I'm the type of girl that has stashes in her refrigerator. I really don't. I always struggled pumping for some reason. Went through 2 different breast pumps and nothing worked for me. I got the Expectra, and then I had some other cheaper one from Amazon, and neither of them worked for me. I do have a manual one that when my breasts are really full, then I've used it a couple of times and it did okay, but that's about it. I don't really stash my milk, although I really wanted to in the beginning, but that didn't happen. So right now I'm producing just enough milk for not having to use a formula. But since I am weaning my baby more now because she's got 4 teeth already, have been giving her more formula, like I would say about 16 ounces a day, and I'm still breastfeeding, but I'm trying to cut it down a little more. It is really hard, guys, because she's completely attached to me. She sleeps in her bed at night. I'm having a hard time her sleeping in her crib now. So just a tip, if you're pregnant or thinking of having a baby or just had a baby, do not let them sleep in your bed because you're gonna regret it down the line. We have a queen mattress, and oh my gosh, she's almost kicking me out of the bed already, and I don't know what to do. My husband has to work and everything, so he gets his sleep, but I'm tossing and turning with her throughout the night, and then I am breastfeeding her, so she wants to nurse every hour or 2. That's the reason why I'm trying to wean her off the breast and, you know, just kind of slowly transition her into going into her crib eventually. Some tips on how to increase your milk production. I had lots of oatmeal. Get some vitamins because the body is losing a lot of nutrients every time that you're breastfeeding, and make sure that you're staying hydrated for sure. So that's one thing. I drink lots of water. I had oatmeal. I had just anything like flax seeds, just natural things like that. I made myself smoothies like milk chocolate. I heard is pretty good, and that's pretty much what helped me. Also, anything with protein really helps. So what I started doing is having more eggs and like egg whites and things like that, and eventually I was able to go days without having to give my baby the formula. And even now, if I want to, I can still breastfeed her every day, but I've decided not to because the more I'm breastfeeding her, the smarter she gets, the more she wants to be on the boob, and it just makes it more stressful because some babies get really attached that they don't want the formula, they don't want the bottle because they're so used to having the breast, and then it makes it harder because no one else can feed them if you have to run somewhere and things like that. So it is nice to kind of have them use the bottle because then you get a little more help. But just from my personal experience, guys, that's pretty much what I did. Also, I know that stress and things like that don't help. And I know sometimes it can become frustrating when you're trying to breastfeed and you don't feel like your milk is getting anywhere. But do not try to stress, because I honestly did, and I think that's when I was the worst. Also, try and get some sleep. I know it's hard with the little baby. I'm still not getting my full sleep like I would like to, but I'm just holding on to the hope that pretty soon I will be able to. Yeah, just have lots of water, stay hydrated, have oats, have oatmeal, have protein, healthy protein. Just stay consistent, don't give up. I feel like with my son, I breastfed him less time than my baby girl. I breastfed him for about 6 months, and then he got his first tooth and he started biting me, and I think that was it for me. I was like, okay, this hurts. You know, I was a child myself, 18 years old. Thank God he's never had any issues. He just gets colds here and there, or around winter he's got bad allergies. But that's about it, guys. I am blessed to have some pretty healthy kids. My baby's only been sick one time, and that's with the cold, and then right followed by the cold, double ear infection, my poor baby. And then we had to take her to emergency because she was just crying and crying and crying like never before. So I told my husband, something's not right, let's take her in. And it turned out that she had a double ear infection. So they put her on antibiotics that caused diarrhea, and we knew that because the doctor told us that's one of the side effects, is she might get some diarrhea. And she did. So my poor baby had a cold that she was getting over, double ear infection, and diarrhea all at the same time. It was like the worst that she's been sick. Now we got over it, we got through, thank God, and now we're here and she's perfectly healthy. So that's what I have for today, and I hope that you found this helpful. Sorry the video is a little long, but if you guys have any questions or if I forgot anything, please comment, ask me away. I'm not a professional, I'm just the mom. Had her first baby at 18 and her second baby at 11 years later. Now I'm 29 years old and here I am, guys. But thank you, stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye. Oh, make sure to like and subscribe. Okay, bye.